I'd like to greet all of my magical friends out there. I'm Ken Krenzel, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce this tape of my friend Garry Ouellet on deadly close-up weapons. I've known Garry for many, many years, always as a highly creative, thinking magician, a man-magician after my own heart, somebody who has the knack of producing magic which is simple, direct, highly effective and mysterious, and at the same time entertains the laity and magicians alike. What you're about in this particular tape are examples of Garry's ingenuity in developing themes and utility moves, some of which I've already adopted. And I know that you will too. Enjoy Garry Ouellet's magic.
Hi, welcome to my new videotape on deadly weapons. This tape is mostly on moves and on new approaches to sleight of hand. I figure that you can always read routines in books, but the real advantage of video is to be able to explain a motion, and there's no way better to see it than on the television screen. So I've tried to come up with, I think, some really useful moves, a useful and deceptive vanish or two, double lift or two, even card changes, card switches, top changes. And on the routines, I've tried to go through them as quickly as possible, saying to myself that even if you miss the first explanation that may go by quickly, you can always rewind the tape. That way I can cram more magic into as little time as possible. I hope you enjoy it. One of my favorite passes, and I know Ken Krenzel and Harry Lorraine and others share my view, is the spread pass. I often call it the best pass that's never used, because a lot of people seem afraid of it or don't realize how effective it can be. Let us say, for example, that a spectator selects a card, which is the 10 of clubs. It is replaced in the deck. You can use a crimp, a key card control, and using the spread pass, you bring it back to the top. You can also use, let's try that again, something that I call the open spread pass. And I should tell you that Ken Krenzel, we were comparing notes, came up with it exactly the same thing. We were divulging it to each other concurrently at the same time. But there's the open spread pass. I'll do that action again. You see, the fingers are more open than in the ordinary spread pass. Now, the spread pass is this. By the way, I'm just using a key card. You can use a crimp to get back at the selected card. It can be done as you're replacing the spread, or you can close up if you've got a way of getting your break again. And then as you're closing the spread once again, under the guise of saying your card could be anywhere in the deck, it is accomplished at that point. Now, the left hand, simply the forefinger comes under and levers up its half like this. This is taking place as the spread is turning, moving that lower portion into the right hand, and the right hand comes over. Exposed view. Now in the open spread pass, first of all you want a bit of a mess. So I describe a slight arc as I spread. Now I'm going to close them this way, using this part of the hand to push. I should also tell you that I think the secret of the spread pass is that the bottom half should be clamped into a solid block by this little finger here. If this is a solid unit, it goes up without getting caught. If you tend to be messy, you have problems. So you describe this arc, which is messy, and because of this position going forward, you end up having the bottom portion arrive deeper in the hand, which means that the fingers are open. So you get a more open look to it. And that is the spread pass. Ladies and gentlemen, a little trick with a deck of cards. I've called this showcase because I want to show you some moves that I'll be using. I need 4 spectators. I don't have 4 spectators, but who better to play the role of 4 people at once than a psychologist my favorite psychologist, and yours as well, I'm sure, Dr. Ken Krenzel. Ken, thank you for joining me. Could I ask you to take one of these cards?
Absolutely.
Spectator number 1, spectator number 2, spectator number 3, and spectator number 4. Now what I would do is I would pretend, if I was a spectator, that this was a demonstration of gambling, and I'd ask spectator number 1 to replace their card, to which we can tell everybody at home we'll cheat and say it's the 8 of clubs. And I would say, look, I lose your card somewhere in the deck. Give it a little magic cut or two. And I go spectator number 2, return your card, lose it somewhere. Spectator number 3, who's got the Queen of Hearts. Spectator number 3, we lose that card as well. And spectator number 4, who's got the 4 of clubs. Now, I've explained to the spectators that after years of self-denial, I have learned to do the move. People say, what's the move? Do you count down? Do you look up? The move is done very quietly. I want you to watch this. A deck of cards, 4 cards chosen. Here is the move. 1, 2, 3. 1 cut. The move is done. I've got here in the middle an 8 of clubs, a 5 of clubs, a Queen of Hearts, and a 4 of clubs that represent the 4 chosen cards. Now people sometimes say to me, I wouldn't want to play cards with you. Now let's say they were a poker hand. If these were a poker hand, and I would try to do into something more important, I'd do this. I'd say that was your chosen card, that was your chosen card, that was your chosen card, and that was your chosen card. 4 chosen cards. I want you to watch this very carefully. I just snap my fingers, rub them a bit, and I have the 4 aces. Now watch when I do a trick with the 4 aces. I take this deck of cards, I cut it about here, I spread it, and I put 1 ace in here, 1 ace in here, 1 ace in here, and 1 ace here. 4 aces, 4 different parts of the deck. Here we go. Right here, right here. Now, I'm going to try to find the aces for you by magic. Watch closely. I do this, I turn around like this, snap my fingers, and I give them 1 magic cut. Here comes ace number 1. Cut in the hands, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes ace number 2. No trouble with ace number 2. Let's try to do better on ace number 3. Ace number 3, 1, 2, and 3. Ace number 4 we'll try to do here on the table, right there. Ace number 4. 4 aces, 4 different parts of the deck. Now, what I would like to do is this. I'd like to go through these 4 aces and ask you if you can remember, this is going to be a hard trick, but ask you if you can remember what your cards that you selected at the beginning were. Because I think you'd probably find that I had the 8 of clubs, the 5 of clubs, and the Queen of Hearts, and the 4 of clubs. And thank you, Ken, for being Mr. Hands. Very nice. Thank you. All right, let me first show you the moves that I use apart from the moves you know. I used something I call the invisible switch. I named it this in honor and in tribute to Harry Lorraine, who's got a move called the invisible pass from his books and from his videotape, which I urge you to procure. Basically, the move is this, for the switch. If I'm holding 4 aces, and 4 indifferent cards, or let's say if I'm switching the indifferent cards to the aces, so I'd hold the selected cards here on top, the aces on the bottom, with a break between the two. In the gesture of throwing them down on the table, what I'm going to do is allow the bottom portion to go to the table, the top portion comes onto the deck. For this to work, you might want to study Harry's book on this. For this, top hand must not make 2 movements. It must be 1 movement to the deck. And in doing the movement, you allow this bottom packet of aces here to drop. What looks like this. And you've switched them. So remember, the mistake is to go boom, boom. Now, how do you get into this position? Well, you've got to have the aces with a heel break. The break here being held by the heel, not by the little finger, otherwise you can't get the right thumb break. So you get this heel break. I then count up the cards like this, show the spectators the 4 cards, square them up in front. As I do this squaring action, I pick up the 4 aces and then do the invisible switch. So you've got to know the invisible switch. The other switch I do right at the end is a top change. And I want to discuss this top just for a moment. I call it the slider change. And it's got many applications. We tend to be terrified of top changes as magicians. It's one of the last sleights a cardician will learn as he builds his arsenal. And I've come up with what I think is an automatic top change. I call it the slider because the card that I'm going to use, that I'm going to finish with, is on top of the deck, held by a little finger break. And I tilt the deck. This deck is tilted so that if I release pressure with the thumb, the card falls. And in fact, it will be falling between the forefinger and the second finger. So your practice is get a break, allow it to fall. Allow it to fall. Nothing difficult there. Now, if I'm holding the card I'm going to switch, that I'm going to get rid of, I'm holding it between the thumb and forefinger of the right hand. I'm going to come and put it on this tilted deck. Now, to put it on the tilted deck, this thumb has to lift up to take it. And I've got a little space already. So when this thumb lifts up to take the card, look what happens. Automatically, the first card falls here. Now, from here it shows, of course. But if you watch your angles, here it doesn't show as much. It can look just like a stroking gesture, and you see it can even, if there's not too much attention on the hands, be done as a gesture of saying, oh well. And remember, it's just this sliding motion, almost automatic. It also can be used in this way. Let us say I have an ace here on the table, and I want to turn it over. I change it to a queen. Again, an almost automatic move. Look what's happening. I'm doing the slider change in midstream, but instead of now doing the change, what I do is stop. This card slides out, stop here, and remove both. Turn over and put over this card. So here it is. But it should look this way as you just turn over the card. It's a really almost effortless, almost automatic switch in the hands. I call that the slider switch. If you're really feeling uppity, you can almost do it face up. It's almost a joke if you've taken the wrong selection. You can almost do it face up. As I say, you don't always get it. It's a lot riskier because it has to be done very quickly. And I will do it just fooling around. I'll never do it under fire. Now that trick, you start off having a crimped card on the bottom. Crimped card is a card that you bend, a key card. You can use a thick card if you want, or a control card. Crimped card on the bottom, 4 aces on the top. You have 4 cards selected. What's interesting in this trick is the way you keep track of the spectator's card throughout the ace cutting part. Okay, cut to the middle, cut to the crimp card, and you have your cards replaced one after the other. As you'll see, it doesn't really make much difference, so you can put one in, do any false cut you may happen to know, false shuffle, you leave everything intact, and you every time you cut, you put the cards back to where they were before, which is above the aces. So let's just save time and put all 3 cards top. Now I have controlled all cards here. What I now do is I did the spread pass, brought the cards to the top. Now here are the 4 selections here. Double cut the selections to the bottom. Now they're down here. Because of the crimp card, when I say I'm going to do the move, these cards drop. Just lift up the crimp card and you have 4 automatically, and do a half pass, which is to say that this just does this. Do a half pass. Anyway, you've told them you're going to do a move. It doesn't matter if you flash. Cut once, and you've now got the 4 face-up cards in the center. break the deck at this point and show the spectators that you've selected their 4 cards. At this point, they may think the trick is over. You get a break, a flesh break, underneath the top 4 aces, because you're now going to do the invisible switch. As you say, that was your card, that was your card, that was your card, and that was your card. Bring the hands together, pick up the cards, do the invisible switch. That wasn't very well. Why don't I do that again? Hard to do these things slowly in demonstration. You often miss. Let me do it to this camera here. I'd say this would be your card, 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 right? And they may think the trick is over. And you on the cards and say, look, I have the 4 aces. Now you pick up the deck, cut the key card to the top of the deck, to here, spread the deck face down, put the aces face up. I'll run through this once. You may have to re-roll the tape a few times to get the sequence. The 4 aces go into the lower part of the deck, close up the deck. Now you're going to do the standard multiple shift strip out, where you let the top, but watch the action here though. You let the top roll down, but now you press down, strip out. Now the little finger comes in as you Hindu shuffle. You've got to keep that break. As you Hindu shuffle, bring the left thumb here and spin these ones away. I'm sorry, I just forgot to do something, tell you something here. Sorry, once you spin it out, we were right here. You spin these out. Now you've got to give this, because the key card's on top, the aces are on the bottom, so you've got to give it one swivel cut, like this, for this to work. Turn the deck upside down, cut to the key card, and what you're going to do is take the bottom portion and bring it up like this. It doesn't really matter if it shows, but you see, I can't let this see because the aces are here in the bottom. So what I do, here are the aces, after I cut, is I bring them up, and now I turn the hand over at the same time. Now I'm all ready to do the pop-out move for the 4 aces. Now let me just go into the pop-out move. It's Piet Fortin's pop-out move. The right-hand motion is simply letting the card drop. That's all there is to do. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. Let the card drop, except you're doing this at an angle. You're underneath, you bring it over, and as you come over, you let it drop. So. Now, one of the great difficulties people have is getting the break here, which is where you have to have it to let it drop. And I've come up, and so has Ken Quenzel independently with the same idea. I call it running around the corner. It is quite easy to get a break here with the little finger. The left little pinky can reach over and get a break. So when you're holding the break with the right thumb, you run around the corner. And once you run around the corner, then you split, and you produce the first ace. You come up, you can do another false cut, run around the corner, get the break, run around the corner, produce the second ace. False cut at this point. Run around the corner, produce the third ace. And the last ace, I do the Piet Fortin pop-out on the table, just as if you're going to do it, except the left hand lifts up, puts this down, and you now have the 4 aces. The right-hand portion goes underneath the left-hand portion. Your key card's on top. You have to cut it to the bottom. So I give it one cut, another cut bringing the key card to the bottom. As people are still amazed about that, get a break under the top 4 cards, lift up the 4 aces, tell them that you hope they enjoyed the trick, and do the slider change, and you come back and show the 6, 7, 5, and 3, the cards that were selected at the beginning of the trick. And that was, showcase. Thank you. When I was in Nassau visiting my friend Jean-Pierre Garnier, a French magician associated with the Club Med there, he introduced me to some of the French counts Jean-Jacques Sanvert was using at that time in France, and others, based on the Visor concept, based on Father Cyprian displacement of a card. I worked with that for 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks came up with a series of counts that we've nicknamed the Paradise Count. Let me show them to you now. I start off, if you'd like, with the Elmsley count. The Elmsley count, which counts 4 cards as 4, but hides the third card, which I'll use, which I'll turn face up. All these counts eliminate any squeezing, pushing off of any cards, and all of them feature the right hand holding the packet very openly. The right hand does nothing, just holds these cards. The left hand, which is the receiving hand, does everything. Here is the Elmsley count to start off with. This leaves you, of course, as all Elmsley counts does, with the hidden card in fourth position, ready for a Jordan count. This is the Paradise Jordan, counting off 1, 2, 3, 4, which brings the card back to third position. If you want, I can do another. It's a good way to practice these things. Another Helmsley count, followed by a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do that last move again because I wasn't concentrating there. 1, 2, 3, 4. An Ascanio count uses 5 cards, counts them as 4, hides the middle card, which I'll leave face up, being the 5, the Ascanio count. Of course, being in the middle, the card is face up. I can do it this way and show no face up card on the front or on the back, and the card is right here. Let me first give you the theory behind these counts. These counts are based on the Wieser concept, which rather than use a block push-off, had this principle that if the bottom card was displaced, you could then count 1, and as you came to get 2, this card could be put with the displaced one, and you could simply grab this block, and instead of having to push off the block of 2, as in the normal Elmsley, where you push off the block of 2, the Wieser concept, as I say, had that block of 2 already. It was just sitting there ready to be taken. Now, in the Elmsley count, as in other counts of this type, I can have a whole bunch of cards in third position. For instance, and let me just show you what I mean. If the angles are sort of right, you can sort of get away with that. You could never get away with that using the old one, and right away this big mess is apparent. So let's get back to a more normal 4 cards. What they were doing in France at the time was based on a Father Cyprian ploy of displacing the bottom card this way. They were going into their counts, getting 1 off, and then getting this block of 2, which is available here in the back. As you can see, the block of 2 was counted off, and then 3 and 4. The problem I had with that was this. I thought you count up here, and up here they're all coalesced. It's only down here. And I didn't know, I couldn't get it working smoothly to come and get this block of 2 down here. And I was saying to myself, with my friend Jean-Pierre, wouldn't it be wonderful if on coming back for 2, I was in this situation. I had my block of 2 here, all ready to be taken away. That's what I want to get. And that's when I came up with the idea of popping in and out of grip. The grip for all the Paradise counts is the thumb and the second finger on the corners, not on top in a middle position, but actually on the corners, which holds them in a solid block. From this position, you will notice that you can pop cards out by pivoting them either on either of these 2 axes. So you can pivot them this way or that way, and the forefinger underneath can push and pivot that bottom card out of grip. That's out of grip. That is the basis for the Elmsley count. All the counts use this grip and pivoting out. For the Elmsley count, the basis of it is with my forefinger, I pivot the bottom card out of grip. Now if I take away this card, my block of 2 comes away right here, and then 3 and 4. But now that is apparent to you if I were to do this and start to count. So I hide this motion by doing it under cover of removing the top card. So in slow motion, as I remove this card, now I do my pivot move. Let me just show you where I am now. Here's my block of 2 all ready to go. Here's my card pivoted out of grip. So as I count in slow motion this off, I do my pivot move, count 1. This is loosely allowed to line up with the bottom card as the thumb simply comes on here and takes away the block on 2, 3, and 4. But in normal time, that looks like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. For a while, I didn't think these principles could be applied to the Jordan count, where the card is in fourth position. But it can. Pivot 1 out of grip, pivot 2 out of grip, And as you come together, for a moment, all cards are together. And at that moment, the forefinger, which has been on the bottom card just waiting for this moment, pivots it out of grip. And you walk away with 3, and then 4. So again, 1, 2. Look at my forefinger ready to go on this card. The minute they're all together, push, remove the 3, and 4. So an Elmsley and a Jordan in real time. I'll do the Elmsley first. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the Jordan. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let me do that again. I started off wrong. I shouldn't have done it. 1, 3, and 4. Now, a Scanio uses 5 cards. Again, the Paradise grip, the forefinger pivots the first one out. The second finger pivots the second one out. Now, the thumb and forefinger, the left thumb holds the top card steady, while the right hand pivots out the block of 2. It's all this pivoting, as you notice. Now, from here is a pretty display. The right hand comes back. Forefinger holds the top card, comes underneath, and the left thumb pushes this one forward, and you've got a display of 2. By taking the right hand and putting it on top of the left hand, you come back to the beginning. In real time, that looks like this, hiding the center card. So those are the Paradise counts, and I hope you enjoy them. Thank you. An interesting little force. I'll be forcing, through the voice of my friend Ken Krenzel in the background, I'll be forcing the 6 of spades from this deck. So all I'm going to do, Ken, is riffle down the cards, and when you want to, you can say stop anytime.
Stop.
Now right here, or a little further.
A little further. Fine.
Right here?
Yes.
At this card, I will take off and give you the card, and if you were next to me, I'd hand it to you, and your card is the 6 of spades. Now here's the working on that. The card to be forced is on top of the deck. Before you start, you have to get into this position. The 6 in the middle, the rest of the deck on top, and a card above the 6, rear jogged. Now there's an easy way to get into that, fortunately. Remember, the force card is on top. You break with the left little pinky, you break down the bottom card, and in a squaring action, leave it rear jogged. The right hand takes half the deck and places it below, squares up, and now you have a card rear jogged above the force card, which is here. This is held this way. You riffle down. As long as you don't pass the center, you're okay. Whenever they say stop, you tilt the hand up at this point. Whenever they say stop, you very openly move the top block back. Now you can lower the hand because you're hiding. You're hiding. See, there's a little packet there. The separation. The force card is here. This is the present situation. What it's going to look like is it's going to look like you're going to lift this top portion off and push off the card that's here and use this top portion as a tray or a cabaret to hand the card to the spectator. In fact, the right thumb goes under and grabs the card in the middle above the force card and pushes it all against the forefinger here where it coalesces, revolving over, and the left thumb thumbs off the card and hands it, and it's the 6 of spades. But there's a retinal impression factor built in. It doesn't look as if this card leaves sight of the spectator. So let me show you that in real time. You would force it, you would riffle down. The spectator says stop. You say right there. And if they say yes right there, you then do the move, which is this, handing the card. And it's the 6 of spades. A sure, never fail, foolproof force. Thank you. The paradox control, it owes much to Mel Simon, Cy Enfield, Roy Cotty of Ottawa, Gilles Couture of Quebec City, and maybe a little bit left. You'll see why I gave it the title of the paradox control in a moment. This is a selected card, which I'm taking back from the spectator, and I say, I'm going to place your card at about the 24th position. 24th position means that your card, in fact, is about 28th from the bottom. And the control is done. The selected card is back on top. Let's do this just a little closer. Up. I say that again. I put the card in, about 24th from the bottom, which brings it to about 28th from the top. From the bottom, and here it is on the top. Maybe if that camera pulled out just a little bit, there's a little bit of a turning action on this. The spectators see the card going in, and it's back here. Now I'm going to try to explain this. The first part, the card is brought in. This is Bill Simon's move. It's at about center, and it's rear jogged here. By the way, all of this takes place in one up and down motion. This first part is Bill Simon's move. If it's at an angle like this, it's put in at an angle. As a matter of fact, the right thumb is on the corner of the card here. Got to be in the corner because that's a pivot point. If this thumb does this, putting it flush, it in fact doesn't end up flush. It ends up a little bit out in front and a little bit on the side. That's hidden by the hand. Now, on the return voyage, it comes up like this. The hand is loose, but now the little pinky, the left pinky, grabs the card and pivots it out against the thumb. It's pivoting against this thumb here. Rather hard to explain, but it's pivoting back like this. Let's just see that part again. It's all done in one up and down movement, up and down. And as you can see, by this time, the card is here, but the right hand is here. In fact, it's in perfect position for a Marlowe longitudinal palm, right here. Now there the move lay for some time, because, I should say that from here, I take the right hand, move the right hand, the left hand away and leave the right hand still. The card is in a longitudinal palm. This was a terrific puzzle for a while, what to do with the card at this point. You didn't want to get into any of these positions. Let me show you what I finally came up with to replace the longitudinal palm to the top of a deck. In the exposed view, notice here the position of my left second finger. It is very important. It stays there. The other fingers move out of the way. This is going to be a pivot point. I'm coming up here supposedly to turn the deck over. The card ends up at angles like this. If I can take away my hand, you'll notice it's now touching this second. But I also still have a contact with the right thumb. I'm going to move this right thumb to this corner. I'm going to slide it up as I come to take the deck. But if I maintain contact, the card comes flush as I turn the deck over. It's very hard to expose the entire move from one vantage point. If I do the whole move from here, you'll see part of it. And if I do the whole move from underneath, you'll see part of it. And done, as I would to a spectator from a stand-up position, if I'm doing it to this camera, I'd say, look, your card is 24th from the top of the deck, which makes it, about 28th from the bottom. Once again, about 24th from the top of the deck, which brings it, about 24th from the bottom, and the card is here. It doesn't look as if there's much movement at all. The card is squiggling all over the place. That's the paradox of the paradox control. Thank you. I'm indebted to my good friend Gilles Couture for the angle pivot and the crook principle, which I'll be using later. I certainly played around a lot with his ideas. I think I've come up with a very effective double lift. And I'll tell you the fine points in a moment. Let me just demonstrate the double lift to you. You reach over, turn over a card, and in fact I have double lifted. The jack was the second card. Once again. You'll notice that you get, it's a stud turnover, but you'll notice that you get the effect of the right hand drawing a card off the deck. Now you start off with a break below the top two cards with the left little pinky, but the whole angle pivot, the right thumb here, the side of the thumb hits the deck and pivots against the heel of the left thumb. So all your motive force, all your action is coming from this thumb hitting here. But of course you don't see it because the thumb is behind the hand. So that fingers pretend to turn the deck over, to turn the card over. But in fact, it's the thumb here going the move. So it looks like you're dragging the card off, and you're doing a double lift. You can even, if you prefer, pretend to be pushing with the left thumb. That is the angle pivot double lift. I think it's one of the most natural looking double lifts you will find. Now, you may be aware of the snap change used by many to reveal a card. Let's say the six of hearts, let's say the jack of diamonds was chosen, and I take out the six of spades and I say, that was your card. Somebody says, no, that's not my card, I took the jack of diamonds. Well, you do the snap change and it turns into the jack, which is just having two cards face to face. They're held in this position by the sides, and they're snapped over, usually on a motion up and down the sleeve. Now, every time I saw magicians doing this move, they would get a break under two cards, which is, you'd have the card that you're going to change, get a little break here with one hand, place it here. But then you would see magicians doing this, and then turning and angling it and getting it this way, then doing the change. I want to avoid this 1-2 move. And I found the angle pivot permits me to do that, because if I pivot, hold it, I pivot, I can go right into the grip and then do my snap change. So that's the angle pivot. So either way, the angle pivot double lift or the angle pivot snap change. Hope you enjoy it. An odd little move the first time you see it, and yet it's so handy. It is capable of so many useful utility uses in magic, useful utility moves. I write all my own lines, but let me show it to you, notwithstanding the bad verbiage here. In its simplest state, the crook is called the crook move. And let me show you the crook double lift, which is simply jack of diamonds, and the top card is really the six of